Recently, there was this article published by Times curator and trends going around entitled, "Why Social Media Friends Don't Count." Now, obviously this was clickbait, but it got me thinking about how forming friendships has changed so much, and how we find new and innovative ways to keep these friendships together. But at the same time, I wanted to discuss how important it is to actually take time to ourselves as well. I wanted to discuss the importance of alone time. Being alone is actually a good thing. This may seem like a contradictory phrase to use, especially in today's society, because we're often told that being alone either makes you antisocial, unwanted, or unneeded. With social media, we are encouraged to be connected to everyone all the time. Our every waking moments documented and broadcast to the world, friends, family, and strangers alike. With social media, we are getting an inauthentic feeling of social interaction. People are connected to us, but we're not truly connected with anyone through social media. It allows us to talk to people, sure, and there is an emotional connection there, but a true bond is formed when we actually share the same space with that person, where we can be with them and embrace that bond being created in a literal sense. Social media friendships can grow stronger when we actually meet that said person face to face. I am in no way saying that online friends are not true friendships. Myself and my fiance met through social media. I have a career because of social media. But what I am saying is that as important it is to attempt to make these friendships stronger and to make them last, sometimes we need to allow ourselves time to breathe and be alone with our thoughts, and by extension, allow others to do the same. I am in a long-distance relationship. Myself and my fiance met through friends we know online as well as friends we know in real life. Because of our circumstances, we have had to use social media to stay connected with friends, work colleagues, and family members. Social media has replaced the pen pal letter, the weekly phone call, or the annual family reunion. Social media friends may not count to some, as it may be just a number to many of us, and we compete with each other on how many friends we have online. But in today's society, social media is used for more than just posting old family photos or, what we had for dinner that day. Social media is used to bring people together that find it hard to approach people in real life. Relationships cost time, and time is a scarce resource, and it should be saved for those who matter the most to us. My love language is quality time, so I do my best to hang out with friends when I can, but I am also an introvert and have pretty bad social anxiety, so meeting friends for social gatherings can be difficult for me to cope with. So sometimes I send the wrong signals and make it seem like I'd rather be on my own, and sometimes that's true. But it's not that I don't want to be friends with anyone, it's just that sometimes I need my alone time to recharge, so I can give the best version of myself to my friends and give them the quality time they deserve. I have many friends who I met online that I have managed to meet face to face and consider those friendships some of the strongest I have ever formed. But I do often find myself worrying that when we do not talk to or interact online, that this bond is somehow growing weaker. And then I feel like I need to constantly be connected to them to stop these friendships from breaking down. But when we are repeatedly talking to someone non-stop, this can actually damage a bond far more than we realise, because we're not reading the situation, and it's difficult to read someone's attitude or feeling through social media. So, is being alone actually a good thing? Now, some people do need alone time. Some people thrive on social gatherings and others prefer the solace of being alone. There is nothing wrong with that. Being alone means you feel independent, you're in control, you're self-reliant and self-sufficient. You'll feel that you can handle anything, that you don't need anyone else's help. Being alone allows your brain to recharge. Of course, social interactions are crucial for a healthy mental state, but it is necessary to allow ourselves to unwind, process the events of the day, and recharge. It's an opportunity to revitalize your mind and body at the same time. These moments are precious, and in this day and age, it is becoming harder and harder to get that time alone. Now, when I say alone time, I mean phone is switched off, television is switched off, laptop and computers are switched off. You are not connected to social media at all. You are just with your own thoughts And yeah, that can be scary to some people, but being alone, at least momentarily, is very important for your mental health. Being alone increases productivity. Let's face it, people are distracting. Removing yourself from social interactions, or removing the distractions and interruptions, allows you to be able to concentrate better, meaning you can finish tasks quicker. Even the smallest of interruptions can snap you out of a workflow, and it's very difficult to get back into that. As productivity increases, so does creativity. Creativity tends to flourish in solitude. I personally find it difficult to come up with ideas or voice them when I am in a group. I find it far easier when I am alone. Would you believe that being alone can actually strengthen your relationships with others? Ironic, I know. Even if you are in a romantic relationship, you are still an individual. You are a separate entity. Though you are emotionally and physically close to that person, you still need to be independent of each other. It helps to keep the spark alive in a relationship if you spend time apart and do things with other people without your partner now and then. You're not always going to enjoy the same activities, and you're not going to get all of your social interactive needs from one person, nor is it possible for you to do that for them. You need to be willing to allow them their solace too. Finally, being alone gives yourself a break from constantly trying to keep other people happy. When you're alone, the only person you need to worry about in that moment is yourself. Sometimes we do feel guilty when we need to take time to take care of ourselves because we feel our time should be spent on other people. But we can't look after everyone, nor make anyone else happy if we don't take the time to make ourselves happy too. Also, bonus, if we screw up, we don't have anyone we need to apologize to. That takes the pressure off too. The fear of disappointing someone or letting them down vanishes. This can be such a relief. You'll stop seeking validation. With that constant connection to social media, we find ourselves looking for permission or validation before we do anything. Of course, we need to ask others for advice, but it's not always necessary. We can act on our own instead of constantly looking to someone to coach us along. You do not need a third-party validation in everything you do. But at the same time, too much solitude can be harmful. Deliberately isolating yourself from people for too long breeds very negative and self-critical thoughts. Our inner critic is best heard in the quiet times. If this voice grows too negative, that is a sign that you are no longer alone, but are now lonely. And there is a difference between being alone and being lonely. For me, it's not so much a fear of being alone as much as it is a fear of social exclusion. The fear of missing opportunities or special occasions, or the chance to have a special bonding time with friends and family. The worry that somehow in my absence I am letting someone down, or I'm missing out on something important, or I've made them feel like I'm not someone they can come to be vulnerable with. My point here is that you should never let anyone make you feel guilty for wanting some alone time. Privacy is something I value highly, and my time alone is important to me. But it's important to learn to recognize when you feel lonely too. And that takes some practice. I'm Mad Munchkin. Stay creative.